Welcome back to News Across Nigeria. Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State has called on the federal government to encourage foreign direct investment as a means of ensuring speedy recovery of Nigeria's economy from the effects of the downturn of oil prices. The governor made the call in Asaba while playing host to the Director of Oil and Gas Free Trade Zone Development Authority, Honorable Victor Alobo, who led the management team of the organization to the government house. He said the empowerment programs of his administration are aimed at churning out entrepreneurs that will be employers of labor in no distant future.
We'll continue to partner in this direction. There is no doubt that that's the best way for Nigeria to grow, and I can see a lot of those zones that are coming up in the country. It is our hope that we will continue to develop the big ticket projects through foreign direct investments that are coming in this area. I've also tried to push for the other one coming in the Delta gas cities. We're still pushing very hard through the NNPC and NASU on that.
We are already looking at the gas master plan that passed through Delta State. And because the free zones needed the feed materials, both gas and crude, wherever these gas lines are there, it's a suitable site to establish an industrial city for the downstream of the oil and gas industry. And the whole site for the Delta Steel Rolling Mill is actually one of such ideal sites. And that is what we are discussing with the government to see how it can be made a special economic zone.
Workers of the Federal Medical Center, OWO, and Ondo State, under the aegis of the Joint Health Sector Union, NASU, have staged a peaceful protest demanding the release of a pharmacist who was kidnapped last Saturday and happens to be one of their members. The leaders of the union who spoke with journalists threatened to down tools if the woman is not released and the government does not make any efforts to secure her release. In another part of the state, members of the non-academic staff union of the university's NASU, Federal University of Technology, Akure chapter, are protesting against the disengagement of the staff at the university staff primary school. They insist the staff of the primary school were legally recruited and as such cannot be disengaged.
These are workers of the Federal Medical Center, OWO, Ondo State, southwest Nigeria. They've abandoned their duty posts in protest against the kidnap of one of their colleagues. With one voice, the workers who gathered under the aegis of the Joint Health Sector Union, JHESU, are demanding the immediate and unconditional release of Mrs. Queen Adeyeye, a pharmacist who was kidnapped last Saturday. The woman, who is said to be a widow, was abducted while returning home from a vigil on that day. The leaders of the union threatened to down tools indefinitely if she's not released.
Unfortunately, since Saturday now that the woman has been taken away and no information as regards given real assurance that the woman will actually be released. So that is why we are threatening the government that the woman must be within 24 hours. If she's not released, that we are going to down tool our services here.
I am not happy, and not only for her, for the entire members of this Federal Medical Center, because we are not safe. We are not safe. The security in Nigeria and even in Ondo State is alarming. Very, very poor. So we want our leaders to please rise up. Let them rise up to save us. That is why we have we voted them even in power.
The appeals to the government and well-meaning Nigerians to come to the aid of the workers of the medical center as they believe they're no longer safe. There was another protest in Akure, the Ondo State capital. This time, members of the non-academic staff union of universities NASU, Federal University of Technology Akure chapter, staged a protest against the decision of the university authorities to disengage workers of the university staff primary school. The NASU staff members insist that the workers being singled out were recruited by the university management like any other staff and cannot be arbitrarily disengaged.
In 2009, our union had an agreement with the federal government on this matter, that the federal government shall continue to fund both the current and the capital expenditure of the Staff Primary School. But all of a sudden, they are changing the tune. So what we are saying here is that we are saying no to that policy, and any attempt to go ahead with that policy will be resisted by the union.
They argued that the development is peculiar to FUTA, as no other federal university has disengaged the staff of their primary schools. Meanwhile, the Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Adebiyi Daramola, said the directive is from the federal government and not from the school.
The government gave us directives that come January 2016, the salaries of primary school teachers in some universities, including secondary school teachers, will no longer be part of the personnel grant that the federal government is going to be giving us. The alternative we have is to close it down.
The workers are not having any of that, insisting that any attempt by the university management to implement the policy will be strongly resisted.
And that's this edition of News Across Nigeria. Many thanks for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay.